Hello friends, just a reminder that everything that is on the PowerPoint presentation is exactly what you would be seeing in the real classroom. So if you don't need to hear me read this to you, you are more than welcome to just look at the PowerPoint presentation and skip the video. If you do need to hear somebody reading out loud to you though, please watch the video. This is drawing lesson 11, the elegant contour. A discussion about line. The contour of the body is extremely subtle, difficult to describe accurately, and quite fascinatingly beautiful. Perhaps for this reason, research into the contour is almost a separate study unto itself. That was Tony Ryder. If you put a line drawing next to a large, full-color painting, very few people will notice the drawing, even though it may be superior work. Without any framework, people often cannot recognize what makes one drawing better or more valuable than another. Why one person would go to such great lengths to gain mastery of the discipline and another would spend a whole paycheck buying the end result. A masterpiece of drawing has no room for error. Every line is essential. Likewise, drawing hides very little. It lays bare the artist's skill for all to see. The more I know about drawing, the more I marvel at the skill found in even the simplest sketch of a master draftsman. Just like the palate can learn to appreciate subtle but exquisite cuisine, the student artist can learn to appreciate the ingredients of line that create magnificent drawings. In this drawing, Leighton worked from morning to evening for a full week. He said that drawing plants is as difficult as drawing a head if you are conscientious about it. The power of a quiet line. When I was younger, I used to think that a drawing required vigorous line work, with the full value range of white to black to be powerful. I equated emphatic mark making with strength. Now I'm of a different opinion. A beautiful line drawing should leave something to the imagination. Rather than providing immediate or obvious visual satisfaction, it demands savoring and creates an appreciation that grows over time. The simplest line drawing can be the most challenging and personal to create. Line features an austere intellectual quality that makes it quietly compelling. It whispers, speaking only to those who can hear. In a world of noise, it can be truly refreshing to be around the quiet sophistication of a line. The energetic line conveys the feeling of process rather than a fixed outcome. This is an appropriate visual metaphor for the artist's work. In this exquisite head, a single line manages to capture the profile and create the illusion of volume. Notice that the artist left a significant amount of space for the gazing direction. Forming shapes. One of my earliest memories was the sense of pleasure I got from tracing thin wooden shapes. Simple figures such as circles, squares, or triangles are ubiquitous throughout the art of the world's cultures. When I think of the word shape, what first comes to mind are these archetypal geometric forms. Yet, the shapes that comprise our visual world are not so clearly delineated or so clearly organized. The term shape in art refers to the contour or parameters of an object. It also refers to the more abstract concept of a division of space. In its most basic form, art itself is simply an arrangement of shapes that are delineated by such formal elements as value and color. In art, unlike in preschool, these shapes are almost never geometric. Rather, they tend to be ill-defined and organic. Furthermore, human beings are visually efficient and often condense information into easier-to-understand components. For example, a display of 50 apples may register to my eye as a single pyramid. Therefore, often the shapes we see do not coincide with the contours of an individual object. Recognizing shapes is basic to our existence and survival. They help us identify a friend or ensure we're on the right road home. Without effort, and often without our realizing it, our eyes and minds work together to edit, simplify, and reconstruct the world in which we live. They also decipher partial information and create meaning from it. Mathematical or geometric shapes have names: triangle, square, circle, and so forth. Artistic or organic shapes, on the other hand, remain unnameable because we deliberately liken them to other things, like the free association of seeing animals and clouds. Consciously freeing yourself from the name of something can enable you to embrace its visual ambiguity and capture the shapes that are really there. Intricate folds in drapery provide ample opportunity to practice accurately drawing shapes. These two shapes, one geometric and one natural, echo each other. Forms found in nature lead the mind to their idealized version, as this leaf hints at the star. Embrace visual ambiguity and draw what you see rather than what you know. Before you start to draw something, take a moment to remember that you will be continually tempted to draw what you expect to see rather than the more unclear forms that are actually there. It takes a certain amount of trust to believe that if you actually follow the dictates of your subject, what you see rather than what you know, things will work out in the end. To help internalize this idea, it may be useful to render something that does not really look like anything. A rumpled up piece of fabric or the gnarled roots of an old tree, for instance. Then, after your initial block-in, start drawing from the shadow shapes first. The shadow shapes will form the visual anchor on which you can base your whole piece. The tangled roots of trees lend themselves to a slow and careful study with line. Trees often contain implied spirals of movement. Like a still life, trees are immovable, yet they convey the rhythm of living things. So for your assignment, keep in mind this isn't going to be due until next class. I'm going to have you crumple up a piece of paper and put it on the desk in front of you, and I want you to draw it. So remember, the way it was described is that you're going to block in your subject, and then you're going to begin with the shadow shapes and work your way